What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Sunday League Streamers podcast. I'm your host of today's show, Steve McCutcheon, along with my one co-host, Vino Anazelli. Say hello, Philip.
What's going on? The better co-host, no Michael again.
The much better co-host, obviously. Yes. Most dedication award. Please take a moment real quick, though. Hit the bell, subscribe to us on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and wherever else you find your podcast if you haven't already. And also follow us on Twitter at the SL_Screamers_pod. Real quick, we got some news and notes from around the world to get the show kicked off. We left off with the United States men's national team right before their third game. They ended up picking up the win, their second of the window against Costa Rica at home, a 2-1 victory. What were your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, it's always good when you collect all 3 points, especially in a must-need game. Mostly happy with the response that this team showed. It was definitely a different performance than the previous week. I mean, it couldn't have gotten worse, in my opinion, but I don't want to harp on negatives because, like I said, it's good that we got all 3 points, but it was another case where that game should have been 4-1, 5-1. I mean, absolute domination, and squeaked by with a 2-1 win at the end of the day. So definitely making strides, and I'm glad they had the personality and determination to bounce back from a catastrophic game 2 of that round. But still a little bit of work to be done with this team.
Agreed. I thought it was a pretty good lineup by Greg for the most part.
Yeah.
I feel like deep down inside, he honestly does know who should be starting. And there's always speculation, especially on like the Twitterverse, about, is there an MLS quota? Do we need to be starting these guys? Is the US Soccer Federation, really imposing their will upon the coach and who should be in the lineup and who's in the roster and all that kind of stuff? If you can't tell from the Panama game to the Costa Rica game who should be playing or not, you shouldn't be coaching the team from here on out.
Yep.
And I don't think that's in any sort of a question at this point in time.
So you still think he's facing the sacker? Because I think he is. I think it's not like he's making mistakes that are unavoidable. Like he's not learning from his mistakes, it feels like, and he's getting pulled out by just the sheer determination of these players in let's be honest, a lesser World Cup qualifying group compared to the rest of the world.
Based off what I just said about the whole US Soccer Federation, I would say he's not on the sack. He loses to Mexico and we don't get a result against Jamaica, meaning a win. Like I would say not even a draw is enough. He would deserve it. But at the same time, do you sack a guy after the third window and there's only 6 games to go? Yeah. So at that point, like what goes on? The more it goes on, I feel like he's not going to get sacked unless he literally just loses the next 3 straight or something like that. And there's no other option, even for the Federation. But for right now, he's got his job. But again, it's clear night and day who should be in this lineup and who should not be.
Agreed.
And
yeah.
It's very, very obvious on the eye right now at this point.
Yeah. So. It's not a good sign when the rest of the country can see what the issue is, and the guy actually managing the team cannot. And that's honestly what's scariest about Greg's problems in managing this team right now.
Yeah, I'm going to be very excited again to see the roster release of the next window against Mexico. Yeah. It's obviously our strongest opponent, the team ahead of us, and just going forward from there.
Yep.
Other news and notes from around the world regarding the men's national team. We are currently banned from their Twitter account. Yours truly might have been slightly happy about Areola going down in warmups and Way getting the start that he finally deserves. So I will not say it was a bad tweet or a rude tweet. It was karma for Greg Berhalter not playing Way in the first place.
Yeah, just to be clear, we are in no way, shape, or form applauding an injury. We don't want to see anyone get hurt ever.
Never.
But Timothy Weah was the missing piece for that puzzle at last. I mean, and obviously it shows he causes the own goal that gets the win on a great strike. I mean, 6 inches to the left and it's a goal, not an own goal. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. So, and I think they're going to go to FIFA or the CONCACAF, whoever qualifies it as a goal or not, and they're going to go try to appeal it.
Yeah. Well, while they're there, tell them to figure out the VAR situation in qualifiers. So
we might have gotten away with one this time around instead. So it was a questionable tackle. We'll let it slide. But Chris Richards was definitely, it was 50-50, could have been given.
Yeah.
Let's move on to over in Europe, though. We got the Champions League coming up for the club teams. How are we feeling about the Premier League squads coming out there for this round?
it's going to be tricky. I mean, it's no surprise that the match of this round so far in terms of the Premier League clubs and who they're playing is Atletico and Liverpool. I mean, that's going to be a great game. A stingy Diego Simeone side versus a free flying Liverpool. One of the only 4 remaining teams actually who are undefeated in the top 5 leagues. It's 2 in Serie A in AC Milan and Napoli, and actually Freiburg in Germany of all things, and then Liverpool at this point. So it's at the Wanda Metropolitano, I believe, this time around.
Yeah,
it's going to be a tough.
I thought it was at home.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, Liverpool were knocked out by Atletico 2 years ago. I think it was the year after they won the Champions League in like the round of 16 or something shortly after that, quarterfinals, whatever it was. But it's gonna be a big test. I mean, this Liverpool defense they've come up against Chelsea. It was a 10-man Chelsea. They came up against a good City team, scored 1 goal. But I mean, you're talking about Antoine Griezmann and Luis Suarez leading that front line. Like it doesn't like that's absolutely world class. So it's going to be another good test of that back line who are now healthy again. So really excited to see that.
Gotcha. What are your thoughts on the Bruges Man City game? Out of curiosity, I obviously from the naked eye, it's a Man City 3-0 bludgeoning, probably, right?
Yeah.
Bruges is actually in second place in the group currently. Man City in third. They're up there by a point. They had a nice draw against PSG, which they actually looked really good in, and then they beat Red Bulls, who are down in the last place right now with 0 points. So, walk in the park for City, or
I think it's a walk in the park for City. Okay. I say that not with any, with no disrespect to Bruges, but I know how good PSG is. It's no secret who they have on their team in every position 3 times over. It's absolutely no secret. But when you look at this PSG team, when they played in the opening match, that's a misfiring PSG team, especially like more so earlier on in the season. Even though they might have beaten City, and City's now below Bruges because of that loss, City were by far the more dominant force. I mean, City just beat Chelsea. They played against a great game against Liverpool, who I thought they probably should have gotten all of the points if it wasn't for a Mo Salah masterclass. So I don't want to take anything away from Bruges, but I mean, you're talking about they played a team who hasn't accrued a point yet, and they also played a team that, as good as they are not firing on all cylinders. I mean, they just lost 2-0 to Rennes, I think, this week. No, that PSG team.
Dude, I rarely keep up with League One unless there's a fight and someone getting knocked out in the stands, and then we cover it. I'm not usually over there.
I think Man City is a team to beat in the tournament, and I think all their performances both in the league and in that has proven it. I mean, we'll get to it later, but last week domestically they played a pretty stingy Burnley team, and they found a way to get the job done. And this is all without a striker, keep in mind, basically. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say it's an easy game. It's Champions League, anything can happen. It's never an easy match, but I think City's a different animal than any team that Bruges has played in the last couple of years, probably at this point.
I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, predicting Champions League games never easy. I look at Sheriff right now. So
yeah. My jersey's on the way. Can't wait.
We've eaten our words quite a few times on this podcast already. I don't think it's a walk in the park for City. I think, like you said, Champions League is just a different environment, different mentality. Bruges is at home, probably like a 2-1 City win.
Yeah,
I think they put up a pretty solid fight. Again, could be wrong. You could be right. Could be an absolute just masterclass.
That's the beauty of Champions League.
It is, dude. Any given midweek day.
Right? Yep. Yeah, midweek day.
Then we got Chelsea at home to Malmo. I would imagine Chelsea's class comes through with this one, but they haven't looked good. Stride, realistically.
They have not looked good the last couple of weeks. I mean, you can go back to before the international break, forget about the Brentford game, which in all seriousness, they should not have gotten all 3 points from.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to that, but
they scraped by Zenit at home as well. It was just the same thing. I mean, I don't want to say Lukaku's misfiring because he's not getting the service from his midfielders. I think he should be getting, in my opinion. But I don't think this is a game Chelsea can take lightly. I mean, like we just said, you don't get to the Champions League by being a mediocre team. You just don't. Otherwise, Tottenham would be there. Like, this is not how that would...
Fine, do him Mike dirty like that. He's not even here to defend himself.
Mike Dish just, I got to throw one dig at him right now. That's it. I like Tottenham a lot. Some of my favorite players on that team. But I think Chelsea is reminding me of PSG. Like I just said, they have all this quality, but the pieces aren't falling together for these 3-0 wins and matches where they should be. And I think this is going to be another tight 1-0 affair. I do agree with you, though. I think they pull through. I think all 3 points end up staying at the bridge. But it's not going to be as easy as I think most third parties are thinking.
It's one of those games to me where it feels like the quality of Chelsea will shine through for the victory, but not necessarily the quality of play.
Yes,
in a sense, it's going to be a tough, like you said, 1-0 win.
Moment of magic here. You Chilwell volley like last week in the league. Something like that.
100%, 100%. Then the last Premier League team we got going, real tough one here in my opinion. Man U at home, but versus Atalanta, who were actually first in the group with 4 points. Man U with 3.
Yeah,
the Young Boys defeat's not helping them right now.
No, that's killing them. United don't look good. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. They do not look good. I know they just came up against Leicester midweek, but they shipped in 4 goals against a Leicester side that was struggling. Clearly, they're struggling in Champions League too, although that might as well be named the Cristiano Ronaldo competition. So it could change at any given point. You're never going to bet against a team with Ronaldo in it in the Champions League.
Big facts.
But Atalanta are a really good team, a very, very good team. They're well drilled. They've been playing together for a long time. They have a very attractive style of football. And I think Atalanta is going to end up taking all 3 points in this game. I think if anything, United is going to have to fight from behind to scratch a point out. But overall, I think this is a game that's very losable for them, or I should say a very winnable game for Atalanta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for those who don't know, Atalanta, great story behind them a little bit, just kind of like coming up through the ranks. Obviously, a little bit of financial help there, but the way they play, their style is absolutely incredible. It's just the most, it's
very fluid.
It's a higher, a more efficient Leeds kind of in a way, a better quality, I would say. It's just a very free flowing team. They're offensively just driven, and they'll get in shootouts with you and win 4-3.
It reminds me of, I don't want to say lesser, but a less effective version of Liverpool's free flowing attack.
Okay, we'll put him right in the middle there.
Yeah.
Not as good.
I mean, when you have players like Ilicic or Demiral or Zapata and Gosens, I mean, Zapakota, I think, just got transferred there on the wing back. Pasalic. I mean, it's a good team with players who know what they're doing in a system that they're very accustomed to. And if Manchester United's cohesion, I guess I should say, is any indication of where their performances are, which it has been, it's going to be a real issue for them. They seem completely off the pace and not in sync whatsoever. And they're coming up against a team that is entirely in sync all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great. So they're always fun to watch. It'll be a tough one. Maybe a draw, but not. It could be a Atalanta win. I really just don't see Man U the way they're playing currently right now. Getting all 3 points even at Old Trafford.
Yeah, and I mean Varane's still out. No, he's out for a little while.
Yeah,
that's a big blow because have you heard Atalanta? It's you keep you do the opposite of what they do. You keep them in keep a high press against them and force their defenders because they like to attack. They like to have the ball. And that's dangerous when you're missing a couple of key players in the back for United right now.
I agree. Moving on to our Stars and Stripes sections, where we cover all the United States men's national team standout performances from across the globe. First up, Vito, we got Serginho Dest.
Serginho Dest, the hero of the last U.S. match. Yeah, played a pretty good game, 87 minutes or so. 94% passing. Was he playing on the wing instead of a right back position?
He was playing. They had Sergio Roberto actually a right back, and then Dest was playing right winger.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, it works out for me. He nabbed an assist. He completed almost all of his dribbles. I think like four out of 5 it was. He has that in his locker, though. I mean, he's more of a fullback than a wing back than he is a fullback. Really, he loves to get up the field. He likes to take players on, and that's part of the reason I enjoy watching him so much. But a really good performance for him in a big win for Barcelona.
I agree. They would you put someone like Joe Scally back at right back and then move Dest up to right wing?
No. I think when you're looking at this national team, where we're lacking is in defense. I think we have enough wingers and enough talent on that front line and even in the midfield. I'm not saying our back line is bad by any means. I don't want to get that misconstrued, but it's definitely where the improvement needs to be at times. I mean, you have Timothy Weah, Christian Pulisic, Conrad De La Fuente, Aronson. I think there's enough up there that Dest is best deployed in that defensive positioning.
I got you. No, I agree. I just wanted to bring it up for the little food for thought on that one.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean,
he plays great going forward.
Do you think the same thing?
Right wing back's his role, like no doubt about it. Or just games in general where he plays right back, but he can basically play as the wing back and just get forward as much as possible and dominate.
Yep.
Another right back for United States men's national team, DeAndre Yedlin, put in a pretty good shift. 90 minutes, clean sheet, 1-0 win, 87% pass accuracy. One half his duels, 5 out of 10, but he had 6 interceptions and 6 recoveries. Good to see. I think he is the direct backup for Desk right now at that position, over Shaq Moore and some other names too. I think he's in a much better situation, but I'm not the coach as well. So
yeah. Then it's good to see Yedlin back on the field. It's funny how he's our veteran whenever he takes for the national team now.
Dude, remember when we were back in college though, and he was like coming onto the scene out of
Akron, dude, he was electric.
How he was like the next best thing. Yeah, he was so fun to watch.
Was he playing for Newcastle at that time?
No. He's playing for the Sounders. He went to Newcastle, Tottenham. Now he's over at Galatasaray. There might have been another stint somewhere else. I wish he would have went to like an Ajax like Des did, or like a Dortmund or something. I think his development would have changed greatly. Not saying he's bad, but we all thought he was going to be the right back for 10 to 12 years.
Yeah, we thought he was the next Christian Pulisic, basically, in that fullback position, though.
100%. So,
although he wasn't around at the time, but I think you know what I meant.
no, I got you. Next up, we got another outside back here, George Bello.
Yeah, George Bello. Great week for him in the MLS. 90 minutes played. He created 3 big chances, including an assist, 4 of his 6 duels, 3 clearances, 5 recoveries. It's what you hope he was going to do for the national team. It's just every time you see George Bello on that team, like I understand why he's there. He's playing lights out in the league right now domestically, but he hasn't been able to replicate that in the national team yet. So, but it's good to see him continuing his run of form in the MLS, and hopefully he can turn that into some serious minutes and productivity for the national team soon.
Yeah, I think he's perfect for MLS right now. Let him develop another year or two. I just don't think he's at the national team level currently.
Yeah, agreed.
But obviously, when you're putting in performances like this, we could be deploying him wrong. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't watch too much MLS, so I think Atlanta kind of plays him in a little bit more of a wingback role, like kind of like a death situation where they push him farther up the field. And I think he's a little bit more defensive when we have him for the national team. So could be using him wrong. Could just be he's not up to that level just yet.
Not fit in the play style.
Yeah, it could be a combo of things. Yeah. But I think he's definitely one to watch. I think Scally deserves the next call up ahead of him based off his recent performance for the national team.
Yeah, I
agree.
Then
Scally killing it at the club level. So next up, another MLS killer. Joshy Zardes is back. Not the best national team performances as well, but brace at the MLS level again. So that is in a 4-0 win. What are your takes on him? I can never every time he goes back to club, murders it, comes back to national team and doesn't do as well lately.
I want him to succeed so bad. It's not even because he's I don't think he's the best player in the world, obviously, but he's what this team could be missing if he's on his form. He's more of a target man that we need. We have that pace, we have that trigger, we have the flexibility through the middle. But if you have a tough center forward who can bring the ball down and do what needs to be done and link up play, that's exactly what he's supposed to be there for. And oh my God, what's his name? The young kid just
Pepe.
scored again.
Pepe.
Our striker.
Pepe.
Oh, Pepe. Oh, yeah. Like that. Pepe was doing that extremely well. He was stretching the field a little bit. He was bringing in the wingers, and he was helping to release the pressure. And that's exactly what we want from Zardes. But Zardes, I mean, he's showing it in the league that he's more a clinical finisher, but he's not translating that to the national team. So it's unfortunate to see. I would like to see him replicate that. I mean, obviously we all would. But I think that's something that the national team's missing that he can provide if he's on his day.
And we got guys, you got Pepe, like we just mentioned, PFOC over at Young Boys, Sargent over at Norwich, granted not in the best form. We'll get to that later on too. But you have all these younger, potentially better options. Is Zardes done at the national level pretty much? He's 30 years old at this point, right?
Yeah.
Tough to see. And then we got a few honorable mentions as well if you want to go through them real quick.
Yeah, Zach Steffen, 2-0 clean sheet with City. Anthony Robinson off the bench in the 32nd minute and scored. Anyone else?
Cameron Carter-Vickers with a 2-0 clean sheet and 110 duels for them too. And then Robinson, nice. he came out for 32 minutes, not in the 32nd. So
sorry. For 30, yeah. Sorry.
Half-hour shift.
Sorry.
Good reading on that one.
Yeah.
Heading over to the Barclays Premier League, though, we got our weekly recap like always. First game up in the morning was a Watford-Liverpool game. Wasn't really a game. Absolute poop fest in Liverpool. 5-0 victory. Sadio Mane, congrats to him, 100th Premier League goal. I feel like every time he scores, he's breaking some different type of milestone right now for them. It's supposed to be at all those levels, but I think we all kind of expected that going into the game that last week. It's just a completely different quality of level of play. And it seems like when Watford goes up against those top tier teams, they kind of put in like a shift like that for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we had what's up?
Well, you know what's even more impressive about that 100 Premier League goals? He did that without scoring a penalty.
Really?
Yeah, that's the stat floating around right now. He says Sadio Mane's become the third player to reach 100 Premier League goals without any of them being penalties. That's insane.
Interesting. So he can't be called like Penaldo or Penesi.
No, that's clearly Salah.
Love to see it.
Yep.
Then we had a crazy one over in Aston Villa.
Crazy is an understatement. You know, it was when it was 2-0 for Aston Villa, like the 80th minute, I was like, I nailed this one. I picked villains to take this one out. 14 minutes later, it's 3-2 Wolves with the win. I mean, that was unbelievable. Talk about a comeback. For anyone who didn't watch that game, it was all Villa for the most part until the end of that game, and Wolves just turned it on. I mean, and they capped it with a free kick. I know it was a deflection that went past Emilio Martinez, but I mean, it was just unbelievable. It's kind of characteristic of Aston Villa's season, though. They've been so hot and cold at times. Like, I mean, they've got big wins in certain games where you didn't expect them to. I mean, they beat Manchester United, and then they lose to Tottenham and Wolves in winnable games. I mean, it's definitely been the Achilles heel for this Aston Villa team, is not seeing out the games where they should be seeing out.
But defensive problem or something with tactics with the coach in general? Because like it's weird, like you said, they beat Everton 3-0, then followed by a Man U 1-0 win. So obviously strong defensively there, got their goal to win. Then they lose to Tottenham 2-1. Could have at least gotten a point out of that game, I thought, right? At least 2-2. And then Wolves just absolute collapse.
Yeah, I don't really know. I would love to say that maybe it's a tactical issue or what have you, but Villa made three of their substitutions before Wolves had even recorded a goal. So once these goals started flowing in, and you can see that Wolves were on the front foot, it was out of the manager's hands. There's nothing he can do at that point. So I think you have to lay it on the doorstep of the players, not getting themselves into shape. I mean, the onslaught that Wolves gave them was very reminiscent of what Brentford did to Chelsea in the last 20 minutes. And the difference there, maybe if some people are going to say quality, but I think maybe comes down to a little bit of leadership. They were just all over the place. I mean, 3 goals in 10 minutes, like I'm sorry, that's not a manager's fault at that point. It's not like he's playing with no goalkeeper, you know what I mean, or one center back. It's at a certain point you have to look at your players and say, where was the leader? Who was getting them more? Why weren't you getting them organized? I mean, the manager put him in a 2-0 winning position. The players lost that position in the last 10 minutes.
I gotcha. Well, besides crapping on Aston Villa, congrats to Wolves though too.
Yes.
They had a rough start to the league. 3 straight 1-0 losses. Now we're finally starting to see the quality because they were producing expected goals consistently, just like Brighton was. And now they're finishing them off. So props to them. Yeah,
really good win.
And then moving on to just as crazy game, honestly. Leicester hosting Manchester United. They won 4-2, breaking Man U's unbeaten streak. It's finally come to an end. Massive win for Leicester to kind of just possibly jumpstart their poor start to the campaign. While Man U actually fall out of the top 4 for I think the first time all year long. Did you happen to see Paul Pogba's quotes at the end of the game?
I did. They were very interesting. For anyone who hasn't heard of them yet, I mean, Bruno Fernandes said something else too, but Pogba pretty much was like, we obviously have this problem that has been going on for a while, and for some reason we can't find it or fix it. Basically calling out Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, saying, you don't know what
you
the
read
hell
that the same
doing.
way then. Just making sure I wasn't the only one.
Yeah, no, he definitely came after him. And I mean, it is Ole. It comes down to Ole. Look at that team. Look at the names of the players in that team. And they just got smoked. Absolutely smoked. They're losing games left and right now and games they shouldn't be losing. I mean, look at the young boys thing. I mean, I know it's not Ole's fault in particular, but any top manager in the world, their players don't do this shit. They don't. Could you imagine this happening, Sir Alex, or Jurgen Klopp's players or Pep Guardiola's players or Thomas Tuchel's. Like it doesn't happen. It's clearly starting at the top is the issue.
I agree. It's just it's different mentality that he's producing off. It's is it starting to remind you a little bit of Frank Lampard by any chance with Chelsea? Worse, better?
I think better than Lampard, actually. I think better than Lampard, but I don't think by much.
You have
always did a good job overall over the last couple of years with less, I guess less talent in the team. But now when you're
reminding me of the Lampard firing year, though.
Yes.
They brought in Ronaldo, Varane, granted injured right now, but they brought in the names.
Yeah.
Now it's producer leave.
And better names. You're talking about Ronaldo and Varane bringing in. Like that is, sorry, you have to perform. His time for building this team is over. He's been at the helm for what, 4 years now?
Give or take. I don't have it in front of me, but yeah, that sounds about right.
It's time for results. This is a team that should be challenging for the league and should be doing better internationally. Do you think he's on the verge of the sack? Because reports seem to be conflicting. Some are saying he's gone, and others are saying he's built up enough credit with the board that he's going to be there.
Yeah, from the ones I personally read, I saw that his job was perfectly safe as of now.
Yeah,
that could also be changed, or that could obviously change very quickly.
Yeah, we were talking about it last week. I was saying the run of games that United has in front of them, and it was like unbelievably difficult.
Yeah, they have the travel and everything between.
Yeah, Leicester, Atalanta, Liverpool, Tottenham, Atalanta, City. Like that's the next 6 games they have. If he doesn't get those results, you're talking about that being towards the end of November before they play another Premier League game, and he's going to be out by then if he doesn't start picking up some of these W's.
Definitely possible. Yeah. I agree. Moving over to the other side of Manchester, though. Man City with a 2-0 win over Burnley. How do you feel about that one?
I think credit is due to Burnley. I know they lost, but they made it a tough game on City, like a really tough game. They went ahead early with a strike from Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, it's pretty much like
they kept it 1-0 for most of the game, right?
Majority, yeah, they didn't score late on. They actually had some chances to tie it up 1-1 at certain points throughout the game.
Yeah, it was shaky at times.
I thought the result was fair.
Yes.
In terms of Man City getting the win and 3 points.
Yeah.
But considering, I think it was the 3 straight times Burnley's went to City, they lost 5-0 in a row.
Yeah, I saw that actually. I saw that last year when it happened again. Yeah, which is insane, by the way.
If I'm a Burnley supporter, obviously I want to get some points from it. I want to get at least 1 maybe if I'm going away to City. Just I think that's the max they could possibly get. But I'm really not as mad about the performance. I wish if they turn in those kind of performances against the lesser teams in the table, they'd be picking up more points right now.
Yeah, I think this was a case, though, also of Burnley doing what they know. They knew they were going to have to sit back and defend. And if Mike was here, he'd be singing the praises of that Sean Dyche defense because he knows how to set up his team to defend, and they do it well. The problem is going forward, they were never going to create anything because of that tactic. So I think when they're playing a team other than, Cities and Liverpools, et cetera, they lose a little bit of defensive rigidity. And that could cause them problems. But yeah, they were pretty staunch. No surprise. City had 70% of the ball, over 70%. The City almost had 800 passes. That's crazy.
No doubt. Moving on, we got Norwich 0, Brighton 0. I think you guys call me absolutely crazy for making that one a draw, but
yeah,
I was not. They actually, all right. So this is a weird game, kind of. Brighton have definitely cooled off over the last couple of games, just after their hot start. Although they are up in the table, up to 4th. Neil Maupay had a penalty denied. Tim Krul and him made some contact right before the first half was over. Didn't get called. The biggest 2 talking points, especially one massive one, I think has to be the chances by Josh Sargent that were missed. One of them was extremely bad, wide open goal. Just didn't strike the ball hard enough, and then it got clear off the goal line. And I'm not saying not hard enough. This one was like a dribbler, just like a rolling thing, like he barely hit it enough. It makes you think that if he was in form or just in more confidence right now, he absolutely buries that and Norwich get the 1-0 win.
Yeah, I don't even think in form. I don't think you have to be in form. I think you just don't have to be out of form. He's definitely in his own head. I'm curious if that non-call up for the national team took its toll as well. But I mean, no excuse not to bury those chances he had.
No.
You think he's officially lost his place in that team after that game?
You mean for Norwich?
Yeah.
His work rate's so good. That sounds like an Ariella statement, though. That's
I don't
tough.
think he's going to get another start unless he can make it come off the bench and make an impact.
He might go back to the bench now and then be doing cup matches until he performs a little better again. I would hate for him to do that, though, because I think that might hurt his confidence more.
Yeah, but from a Norwich perspective, I'm not sure they have too many options right now.
That's the other thing too. If they have another striker they feel comfortable putting up there with Pookie, or if they're playing him off the wing too. So
yeah,
if I'm the head coach, it's a difficult decision.
Yeah,
because I have a nice young striker who shows all the promise in the world, but I'm at the tippy top level in the Premier League, at the bottom of the table.
Yeah,
tough decisions got to be made. And if you're not producing, yeah, dude, you got to go.
Yeah, positioning and effort only go so far.
Yep.
As a striker,
you need some results, and it sucks because look at. I know we're Chelsea fans, but look at Timo Werner. All the assists, all the movement in the world gets judged consistently because he can't find the back of the net. Although he does so many other things for the team, that's possible.
I agree. I completely agree with you. But he's not setting up assists right now. In terms of Josh Sargent, I'm saying. So I mean, if he's not doing that, it's not like they're scoring goals. It's not like his movement's not getting him anything. I know it's because Norwich aren't very good right now, but I mean, he's there to score goals. It's the only reason he's been brought in. Only reason.
No, absolutely. So they're moving on to Southampton with a 1-0 win over Leeds.
Yeah, this was a little of a bit of an interesting match. I fully expected Leeds to come out with a little bit more, but I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think this was Leeds' worst game of the season.
I don't necessarily agree with you.
Unless you're going to talk about the Man U 5-0 thrashing.
That was the first one that came to my head, but I felt like it was similar in the sense that they were pressing hard and putting in a ton of energy for this game. But against a much lesser opponent in Southampton, who, granted, have been putting in actually some pretty decent shifts.
Leeds did not produce a single shot on target the entire match, and they only produced 3 shots in total. Compare that to 19 shots from Southampton, 5 of which were on target, 1 of them finding the back of the net. Leeds had possession and more passes and more touches. I mean, I felt like it was like almost watching Sarri ball.
Oof, that's rough.
Yeah, it was not a good performance from them. But
do you think Bamford being out though is part of the reason?
Say that again.
You think Bamford being out is part of that reason though? He hasn't played in the last, I think 4.
I would say yes if this was against a quote unquote top 6 team, but this is against a team that they could have beaten without him. I think obviously they did not, so maybe that point is moot. But it's not like they played the best team in the league or the best team in the world. They played a team that even without Bamford was beatable, regardless of the performances that Southampton have put in. They're still not converting draws to wins for the most part. I mean, this was their Southampton's first win of the season, so full congratulations to them. But I don't think for a second that Leeds couldn't have got these points. I just think they were poor. I think they lacked creativity. They were a little lazy, almost like trying to make runs behind the line, and nothing really came off for them.
I agree. And they also had a chance. I forget who it was towards the end of the game that they even could have grabbed the point out of it too. So, I mean, credit to Southampton though. They've had some hard fought draws with City. I think Man U was the other one. They played a hell of a game against Chelsea. Besides the red card, probably come away with a point in that game, if not all 3. So I think the win was coming and just happened to be against a relatively struggling Leeds team.
Yeah, and big shout out to Armando Broja. He's on loan from Chelsea right now. He scored the winning goal, and he became the first Albanian to score in the Premier League, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Fun fact right here.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Sunday Screamers podcast.
Good for him. Big congratulations.
Then move on to the Brentford-Chelsea game. Brentford 0, Chelsea 1. Chilwell stunner and a Mendy masterclass. Looked like Tim Howard in the World Cup against Belgium. Was needed to get all 3 points for the Blues. Brentford extremely unlucky not to get something from this game. Yeah, at least a point, if not all 3. When they play at home, dude, it is no holds bar for the visiting team. They literally could take down anyone. I think they bring Barcelona to Brentford. I will take money. I'll take the money line.
Chilwell first choice left back now.
How do you not? He's putting performances. Granted, Alonso was too, but I trust Chilwell so much more defensively.
I just trust Chilwell overall, I think. But Brentford show up when it's against the big boys, dude.
They do, man. They love it.
To be honest, dude, they probably should have had all 3 points.
I really, like, dude, if it wasn't for Mendy, I think they pull it off.
Yeah, and I think that was maybe a bit of a statement from Mendy as well for the Ballon d'Or snub.
I wouldn't be happy if I was him.
Yeah, right.
Time to criticize Chelsea though. Even though they're at the top of the table, you can't be in a better position than that.
Yeah, Dev, I think time to criticize them. I do. People are going to be able to talk all day about, oh, Chelsea are top of the league. Oh, Chelsea have, only allowed 3 goals all year. But this is the same misfiring Chelsea we've seen for the last 3 years, where they could not score goals. I mean, it's taking there's more goals by defenders than there are forwards at this point on that team.
I don't have it in front of me, but
I think that Chilwell goal was the 7th or 8th goal scored by a defender this year, and they only have 13 goals overall. So Lukaku is not scoring the goals. I don't personally think that's his fault. Do you? I think he's not getting the service from the midfield. There's a lot of times I'm seeing him make really strong runs and good movement, and he's not.
They're just not looking his way.
Yeah,
at all. There's a disconnect between him and the midfielders right now, and the other guys going forward.
Yes.
When they figure that out, though, I think he's going to absolutely unload on the Premier League, like he kind of did right when he first got there. But yeah, it's nothing on him in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's the service to him.
I think part of that reason too is I think Werner's being played out of position. I don't think he's a winger. He doesn't like to take players one-on-one. He's not successful at it. You need 2 strikers up there, and both of them staying centrally and playing off each other, kind of the way I think Lukaku did it with Lautaro Martinez when he was back at Inter. I think is a winning formula for them. But I don't think there's any reason that any way Chelsea can change the shape or game style with results still going their way, regardless if they're not pretty. I mean, they're still grinding it out. So full credit to them.
Gotcha. I got you. Listen, I'm with you. Like it's you always hear that a really good team finds a way to win, type of, quote or whatever you want to call it. So it could just be them. It could be going through a rough patch and they're still grinding out results. So
yeah. Do you think do you think Brentford can maintain this level of form for the whole season?
Oof, that's tough.
I'm not saying grind out wins all the time, but I'm saying the energetic level of play. I mean, it's easy to see that 8 games into a season off of fresh legs from the summer, just being promoted, wanting to give everything to the team. But you're talking about a 38-game season. Do you think it's sustainable?
Yes, just because we saw Leeds do it last year.
Okay.
And I think it's very possible that they can. And they look really, really good going forward.
Yeah.
It's literally just like, all right, we don't care who you are. We're just going to give you our best game and see what happens, which I love because you don't know what the hell is going to happen. But 9 times out of 10, I feel like when an underdog plays that way, it really works to their advantage rather than sitting back and just waiting.
I agree. Take it to the opponent. Best defense is good offense, right?
100%. So moving on, we got Everton West Ham.
Yeah, this was a little bit of a dull affair in the first half, but it definitely came to life in the second one. Everton were playing primarily on the counter in the first half, but they looked very good in the second half. They had a couple of really strong opportunities. One from Townsend. Salman Rondon was even involved in some of that play. Ultimately, though, Ogbonna for West Ham broke the deadlock. He took all 3 points on a set piece that. I mean, you have to kind of lay it at Jordan Pickford's door. So the ball went up and Pickford should have came out and collected it. And he got into a tussle with Antonio, maybe, I think it was potentially. I can't remember exactly who went up to head it. It was a 50-50 challenge. But the keeper should be collecting that 9 times out of 10. And he didn't. And it ends up going out for a West Ham kick, which is what they converted that lone goal for. I mean, it's kind of the story of Pickford's. He plays out of his skull. He's fantastic. And then he makes one error and it's a loss. And it's like, what the hell happened? But West Ham getting back to winning ways, that put them back into the top 6. So all credit to them. Actually, no, 7 because of today. But I don't know if that's an early a slip for Everton or a blip on the radar. Do you think it's more indicative of what we can be seeing from Everton moving down the line, or do you think it's just?
I thought it was one of their worst games of the season.
Yeah,
or not as good ones. Just tactically, they looked a little slower on the ball. I didn't like them playing in the counter on that kind of game. I thought they would have been much better trying to press West Ham,
especially at home.
Yeah, and just getting forward on them. Because West Ham's trying to do the exact same, and then you can go back and forth with them. Unless you don't think they could have outslugged them, and they thought if they became more open, West Ham would have, just dropped a few goals in there on them. So I understand where they came in at the game. I just maybe didn't come off for them. I'm not going to criticize Rafa's performance on that
No,
one.
But I will say I've been saying this about this Everton team all year. They have to stay healthy because we saw what happened when they lost their two best players in Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin. Once one of them were out, it was when everything started to fall off the wheels, and the exact same thing is happening this year now. Yep. Calvert-Lewin's injured, and Richarlison wasn't in, I think, because of international duty from Brazil. And
he was also
as soon as they're not there, it's a loss. After a high flying start, and the same thing happened last year. And it's if they're not in that team, I'm worried to see how they're going to perform week in, week out.
No, it's very, very fair, very fair. Then we head over to Newcastle and Tottenham. Newcastle 2, Tottenham 3. Not the dream result. The new owners wanted as Spurs take all 3 points. We might have joked about it on the last episode. I know you brought it up.
I said that, yeah.
But relegation is kind of a real concern for them, in my opinion. They had quite a few players that started that game for them, especially like in the midfield and stuff, where I don't think they get game time in many Premier League teams at all. Right? Wrong?
The defense in particular, yes. The defensive side of the ball, yes. I do think that. They've scored 10 goals, which is more than Arsenal have scored, more than Southampton has scored, more than Brighton, Tottenham, Wolves. But they've also let in the most goals in 19 already this season.
They got no one protecting their back line.
No one.
Position right now is absolutely brutal for them.
Yeah. Like when that first goal, they scored in the opening 2 minutes against Tottenham, and that goal goes in, all I can think is, oh no, not this Tottenham performance right now. But it doesn't make a difference when you let 3 goals in by 37 minutes or 42 minutes, whatever it was, Yeah,
he's right on halftime with Sung. But yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. It's just, you couldn't have asked for a better start against it, and then just absolutely collapsed. And then, they got the second goal. It was an own goal against Eric Dyer.
I think they're going to get relegated, Steve.
If they don't have a good January window, shore up the defense. Yes, I 100% believe that right now. Right now, currently, yes.
Yeah, looking at that table, look who's down there. Leeds, don't see him finishing down there. Southampton, don't see him finishing down there. Palace, don't see him finishing down there. Norwich is obviously going down at this point. I hate to say it, but then again, they're only 1 point behind Newcastle. So
2 straight draws, baby.
Yeah.
Then we got the last game of the weekend, Monday nighter, Arsenal 2, Crystal Palace 2.
Yeah, that was a good game. That was fun to watch. Unfortunately for Palace, another case of them almost having the points locked up, but we're slipping up in the last, the business end of the game. Arsenal went ahead early with a goal from Aubameyang, but Palace came back with a goal from Benteke, his first of the year, really well worked goal. I think the Arsenal defender could have did a little bit better there to prevent him, but taking nothing away from the strike. And then was it Edouard who scored?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, another goal from Edouard, another good one from him. But you need your best players to show up and make an impact in the game. And there's Alexander Lacazette did that for Arsenal. Right place, right time, one opportunity, and he made it count. He could have had a goal earlier on in the game if it wasn't for an incredible stop in like the 77th minute or so. Disappointing from, I think, both Crystal Palace and Arsenal perspective. Just when you think Arsenal were going to start getting on a roll, come from behind to salvage a draw, and then Palace just more of the same. So I don't think either team is going to be happy with that result.
Yeah, I think they both walk away thinking they could have got more from it, especially Palace. I don't have any stats in front of me right now, but if I had to assume, I feel like they've dropped the most points from winning position so far, which sucks. I think this is the year they take a lot of licks, and they're a very young core of a team. Vieira in there as manager. We see the potential of them every single week, but just not getting the result just yet. I don't think they're in relegation trouble by any means.
No, I don't think so either.
But next year, I'd love to see what they do. And just going forward, I think they turn some of these late draws that they lose points into wins, and they could be kind of a force next season.
Palace would be insane not to throw the piggy bank at Chelsea to sign Conor Gallagher at this point.
Agreed. Absolutely. Moving on, we got our bold predictions for the upcoming match week for the Premier League. Friday night, Arsenal and Aston Villa.
Tough one, but I'm gonna take Villa on this one. They they lost the game they should have won, and I think they're gonna win the game they probably could lose against Arsenal, especially home at the Emirates for Arsenal. But I like Arsenal. I like Aston Villa for this game. But again, I can also see this just going right to a draw, right to a 1-1.
Yeah, I'm gonna go draw on this one. Mike, you? Oh wait, never mind.
He got 0 points this week coming up.
He does.
Pencil him in for that now.
Absolutely. Sucks to suck. Then we got Chelsea Norwich on Saturday. Start off the morning on the East Coast at 7:30. Got to be a Chelsea win, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how you can put this one any other way.
It just
there's not much explanation. Table toppers versus last in the league. I mean,
that's how they get you though. Trap.
Yeah, it's true. This is when Josh Sargent shows up.
Watch you better was a hat trick against us. That'd be great.
My God.
Then we go Crystal Palace at home to Newcastle. I'm gonna take a Palace win. I know we just said everything possible about how they always lose points and drop them. They're due.
Yeah,
3 straight draws.
I'm with you on this one. I think Palace has been playing well week in, week out, and just haven't put that final piece together. But against a struggling Newcastle side, this could be the week.
Agreed. Then we have Everton and Watford. Everton at home. Both teams coming off losses right now.
Yeah, this is an interesting game. I think this could be potentially could be one that Everton could slip up, but ultimately I don't think they're going to. At home for Everton as well, I think Rafa is going to be able to pull this one off. Watford aren't going to be the free flowing team I think that they want to be, that we've seen at times this year either, and Everton are going to be looking for revenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know Rafa's like exact record against teams in the lower half of the table. I'm assuming that when he typically sets up his defense, it's rather good and stingy to get by. Everton at home, I don't see Watford producing much in this game, so I'm going to take an Everton win.
Okay.
Leeds versus Wolves. Leeds at home.
I think this can end up being a scoreless draw. I don't know. Really? I just have that gut feeling. I think it will end the draw, maybe 0-0, 1-1, something around there. But I don't think it's going to be that high scoring affair that we would have. If this was last year, I would have said this game would be 4-3. Or maybe even 2 years ago. But I'll take a draw on this one.
It's tough. I'm gonna go Wolves win. I just Leeds the way I don't see Leeds not coming out of this game absolutely firing, especially after the week they just had. I just like Wolves better right now.
Okay.
That's really my only explanation for that one. Southampton versus Burnley. Southampton at home. This is a tough one.
This is a tough one. I'm going to say back-to-back wins for Southampton here.
No? Oh, okay.
Back-to-back wins for Southampton.
Even against Burnley. Interesting. I'm going to go draw with this one. Southampton seem to sometimes a little bit difficult to create chances, and they've been clinical in the sense of taking the ones they get. But Burnley defensively, especially after this Man City game, I thought they're going to be facing a lesser opponent and I would imagine going forward a little bit more and kind of releasing some of the pressure they've been taking on. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go probably like a 1-1 draw on that one.
Okay.
Wouldn't be shocked about 0-0 though either.
Yeah, definitely.
Then the main game on Saturday, Brighton at home against Manchester City. We got 3 versus 4 in this one.
I think so. Yeah, it should be. Yeah, 3-4, 2 points away, 2-point difference. But I think City's gonna open that gap a little farther. It's. I hate to say it because I like Brighton. I love the way they're playing right now. I love the intensity and the drive in this team. But Man City are the best team in the world at the moment. They are. And to get past them, it'd have to be a perfect performance. And I don't think it's going to happen on Saturday.
Okay. Tough one. I really want to call it.
You want to draw?
Oh, I want a Brighton win.
Yeah, I want that too, but I don't know.
They've created at least one expected goal in the last each of their games, and both of them came out to 0-0 draws. So it's not like they're sitting. It's not like they're pulling almost like a Watford and just going just having absolutely nothing going forward in some games. They do have stuff. It's a tough one. Man City's got too much quality. Gotta take it.
Gotta take them, right?
I said I'd take the serious results this week.
Yeah.
Then we head over to Sunday, which has some incredible fixtures. I'm not gonna lie. We got Brentford at home against Leicester. Both teams kind of good. Leicester in better form, and then Brentford, although coming off a loss, is just fun as hell to watch, especially at home.
Yeah, I was thinking about these predictions before we got on, and of all the 10 matches that we're discussing right now, I think this was the hardest one for me to pick. Leicester have a history of dropping points after emphatic wins, especially in the form that they're in this season right now, and Brentford are playing out of their skulls. I think this one could end up as a draw or a Brentford win. I don't think Leicester's going to take all the points. At home for Brentford, coming off a good result that they're disappointed in, I would like to see. I think it's going to be a Brentford win.
I am with you on that one. We need a little bit more diversity on the show, my friend.
I can't help it, dude. We're nailing it right now.
We're 10 for 10. We're 8 for 8 right now. We're gonna go 10 for 10. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I think
we're 9 for 9, baby.
Well, we got 2 more games left. Good math there, bud.
One more game.
I would disagree because we got West Ham versus Tottenham. Then
I already filled that one in. Crap.
Moron.
Whoops.
We got West Ham at the London Stadium versus Tottenham.
Taking a draw here.
Okay, really?
Harry Kane's
Tottenham's
back
been
on the
scoring
score
a little
sheet,
bit,
so which is good for Spurs. Definitely good for Spurs. But West Ham, I thought, looked pretty good last week in that last game they just played, and at their home stadium. Tottenham have too many vulnerabilities for me to think they're going to dominate this match.
2-2 draw.
Damn it! I said draw. I said draw too.
Shit. Last game of the weekend, Manchester United versus Liverpool, old rivals.
I am going to take Manchester United.
Well, that's good. You're wrong. I'm going Liverpool.
I know, but when you're talking about a rivalry as old as time in Old Trafford,
Ronaldo,
with an angry
masterclass,
Manchester United team, this is not a predictable game. It's not a predictable game. Yeah, if I have probably Liverpool, but I'm going to go with a slight upset here, Stevie.
All right. Yeah, I'm taking Liverpool to steal all 3 points on that one. I would love to see the midweek games in these, and then adjust my thing accordingly, my prediction accordingly.
Yeah, especially if there was injuries or something too.
Well, that obviously, but no, I just want to see how Man U perform in midweek against someone like Atalanta, and then looking at a Liverpool team, which is kind of similar in a sense.
Yeah,
but I think Liverpool takes all 3 points here.
Okay, I'm gonna mark Mike down as draws for all 10 of these matches.
We should actually, yeah, and this gonna be the one week it happens with like 8 of them. We screw over here.
He hits like the gnarliest 10-game parlay.
Yeah, right. All draws.
Every underdog wins.
Even better.
Yep.
We head over to our final thoughts section. We got going on prediction counter. Mike's actually not here, but in first place with 39, Vito with 38 in second, and yours truly down to last place for the first time all year with 37.
Yeah, quite the week.
Sad sight to see.
Yeah, if I didn't have a horrendous week 6, I'd be topping the boards right now, but it's okay.
Yeah, well, you didn't, and you're terrible at gambling.
Yeah.
What else you got for us today, man? Anything?
Yeah, I have something for you, actually. One of the lower leagues, not in the Premier League, I don't remember exactly where it was, but a goalkeeper saw a red card for hurting his own player on purpose after he conceded a goal. Walked right up to him, shoved him in the face, pretty much like knocked him out, received a straight red card.
Are you serious?
Fought his own player and got a red card. Yes. If you haven't gotten a chance to watch the video, he gets up and he runs from his line of the net into like the top of the 18 and just goes after him.
That's bananas.
Yeah, it was quite the spectacle.
Oh, I just googled it.
Yeah, I guess it was because of
Aaron McCarry, the goalkeeper of the Irish Premier League. Oh my God, receives a red card for striking teammate Bobby Barron's during a 2-2 draw.
As a referee, I'd be like, can I even give him a red card for hurting his own chances at winning a game? Like now, like his own teammate.
It's like, it's his boy. What do I do?
Yeah, Federer got put on skates apparently, and then it was a pretty easy goal from there on out. But
that's nuts.
Fit of rage.
Anything else besides something more abuse?
No, nothing else from me. I say it every time, but I'm glad we're back to club football, and I'm even more happy we're back to Champions League. It's like it just keeps getting better.
Yeah, I mean, these congested schedules are good for the fans, at least, not the players.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, make sure you anyone listening peeps the Twitter account. I'll be actually in Los Angeles at the Fan Fest for all of the games, including 4:30 a.m. start time for Chelsea. So I will be there.
Definitely be on the
from
Twitter
the opening
account.
game to the ending game. So check out that social media.
Definitely be following. Vito will be up from the night before, probably still hammered. And
I was going to drive there in the morning, actually, Steve, from San Diego. But we're going to do the hotel instead, I think.
I will pay for your Uber, so you're hammered.
Yeah. Oh, well, I will be. I won't be driving at that point. Trust me. I have my priorities in line. I'll have you know.
Smart man.
You're first, driving second.
That'll do it for us on this episode of the Sunday League Screamers podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, subscribe to us on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and wherever else you find your podcast. Also follow us on Twitter at the SL Screamers_pod for daily tweets about and updates about the show, world football, the Premier League, and the United States men's national team. I'm your host, Steve McCutcheon, with Vito signing off.